Okay. Okay. If you got this right here, I'll show you how to make it.
And I just kept holding the pressure on it because I was just in a
Press
trance. I
here.
just couldn't stop
Tap
looking
it
at
on
her face. I
always.
just couldn't stop kissing her. And I was just in the throes of
Grab one of
ecstasy with
these
her.
and pull that.
And then all of a sudden, my gaze
It'll be
was
glowing.
suddenly broken. And I was just like, oh my God.
And then
You're
you
okay.
grab the
Are you
balloon
okay?
and put this in it.
I knew she wasn't okay because I knew that she wasn't breathing. And I just was terrified. I said, oh God, I'm going to have to finish this. I know what I'm going to have to do because I can't take the chance that she could still be alive.
And another balloon.
I thought to myself, God, what if her brain is just dying and her body's still alive? I just didn't want to leave her in that state.
You put it on the big end, by the way. Don't put it on the little one.
And for some strange reason, I can't explain why, I just said to myself, oh my God, what if blood comes out of her mouth when I do this? I turn my flashlight off.
This is so
There was
hard.
tape wrapped around the flashlight. And I took a piece of that tape off that flashlight.
Yeah, I'm making the
Covered
video.
her mouth with it. I just kind of put the blanket over her and I just kind of held it in place. I
Okay.
just
You put the
threw that
heart in.
flashlight back.
You
And I said,
tie this
forgive me,
right
Jonathan A.
Maybe don't post that one.
Huh?
And then
Maybe don't post that video.
I did it.
Got that in the background. Kind of disturbing.
No, the video's not even in the background. It's showing the pictures. You tie this big end right here, the little end, it's gonna be straight like this. Big end.
I remember after one of the conversations, I went back home and I just started to sob. Even now, it's like,
I had enough mind left to know that I had to gather all my stuff. And in my mind, I don't know if I gathered everything up. I don't know if I left something behind. But I had to go back to that window. That's where I came in. That's where I have to go out. I went through the grate. I got out of the grate. And I was just like, oh God, I've left my little girl in that horrible state. She's in that little tiny room. And worse than that, she's dead. And God, what have I done?
when the investigation began, we had no idea who this guy was, where
I'm
he
really
was.
spending a whole entire hour just doing this.
Interpol's biggest nightmare because I know how to evade. The law enforcement will run into the biggest brick wall when they try to trace this phone number. It leads to nobody. I am not a fool. It leads to nobody.
The question was, how do you find him?
The DA's office people said, look, this person was fascinated with Patsy, wanted to talk to Patsy.
I don't think that Patricia would deny a phone call with me.
They said, let's milk that.
Okay.
Patsy was in bed with cancer. She was in not good shape. So they set up a phone by Patsy's bed with a tap on it, and she was prepared to talk to him.
Okay. Never knew the one.
Phone call
Listen to
was
that.
better than nothing.
But he never called. Patsy was very sick. She was in pain, very much in
Please don't
pain.
act like
We knew the end was near, and I was like, God, please take her. Just get her home, get her, relieve her pain. I told Patsy, it's okay, if you go home.
My next
She
bit
did.
is gonna be more about me.
And I went outside and just,
It is so hard.
I don't know. And I realized I needed to tell Burke. And here, poor Burke
What are you doing?
He graduated from high school. He was in college, and to lose his mother, who loved him dearly, he was, you know, typical kid. He loved his mom.
This is so hard.
So I woke him up. He said, "It's Mom." And I said, "Yeah." She's gone. It was hard.
What are you doing? Yeah.
Patsy Ramsey, the mother of little JonBenet Ramsey, has died. She was 49
Really?
years old.
I don't know how long I'll live, but I know that when I'm absent from the body, I will be at home with the Lord. And JonBenet and Beth and my mother, who has since passed away, and you know, all the fun people are starting to be over there. So it's going to be a glorious reunion.
This
We've been
video
asked,
is going to be so
you know, it's really
long.
too bad that Patsy passed away without knowing who killed her child. And she knows now, I believe. I will see Patsy again, I have no doubt. I don't know how that's going to work or how it's going to happen or what. It's too beyond my little brain to comprehend, but I believe that that's a reality for us as humans.
I was there just before Patsy died. I got to go to the hospital. I held her hand in the hospital. And the last words that Patsy said to me were, "Lou, I don't have much time left. Please catch this right now."
These videos.
Patsy, this is Mike Tracy.
Hey, Michael.
There's some really bad news. Patsy died.
Oh my God.
I know it's horrible.
I can never hear her say that she forgives me.
This video
I can
is
never
going
hear
to
her
be
say
so
she forgives me. Can someone please give me just the satisfaction to know that she at least wanted to have a connection with me, but it just wasn't possible?
I believe that was the case. Daxis knew that I had the last photo of JonBenet. He emailed me and said, could I scan it for him and send it to him? And it was suggested by an investigator that I should offer him the original. So I suggested it, and he gave us a drop box, a UPS box in Bangkok.
Providing you with an address, even though I know that the address is very far from me, it scares the hell out of me.
The UPS store was
This
put under
video.
surveillance, and he told me about a mountain bike he bought
This video.
and described it.
I'm a bicyclist
So why did you buy this bike?
because I'm going to take it to work with me.
So you're going to ride it to the school?
Yeah.
So he turns up on his bike, picks it up, and then he's under surveillance for about a week. I now know that person to be John Marcar.
By then, the Bangkok authorities found out he was a child predator, and he was teaching elementary school.
In one of our phone conversations, Carr described his classroom. This one wall is all glass, so they're looking in through the glass. And there's a moment when he's got this little girl, young girl, on his lap, and a teacher comes in and he pushes her away. And that's when the Thai police said, we've got to go in.
The murder of the 6-year-old beauty pageant contestant JonBenet Ramsey has captivated America for a decade. Now, 10 years on, a man has been arrested in Thailand.
41-year-old John Mark Carr, brought into custody by Bangkok police on suspicion of premeditated murder.
Died accidentally. I was with JonBenet when she died. Her death was
So when you tie it, you coming.
Who is John Mark Carr? What was he doing in Thailand? Since Carr was arrested, new details have come to light.
Big.
He had been an elementary school teacher in a suburb of Atlanta for some time, but is no longer working there.
Carr worked as a substitute teacher at Hamilton Elementary for a few months just before John Benet's murder. But he was taken off the substitute list after complaints from parents.
Inappropriate language, and I won't say necessarily sexual, just things that were not normal.
He's fixated on young girls. I think there's a question about that. In 2001, he was arrested in Petaluma, California. He'd been working there as a teacher, and he was found with child pornography. He was charged, was heading for trial, and he left the country and disappeared.
I've been running for 10 fucking years, and I'll be damned if anyone's gonna catch me now.
Since then, the 41-year-old seems to have found plenty of work abroad. In resumes posted on the internet, Carr claims to have taught in Asia, Europe, and Latin America.
More chilling, Carr worked briefly as an elementary school teacher in at least 2 international schools in Bangkok, including an all-girls school. Some legal observers are skeptical of Carr's story. They have questions like why John Carr would even leave a ransom note at the scene of John Benet's murder.
It had been my plan all along to just take her. And when I first arrived, I was very confident and smug. And when you walk into the bedroom of parents, you just get this feeling. It's almost like someone's watching you. The gravity of the situation starts to hit, and you're like, well, how do I deal with these parents?
This could be.
I want to give enough information that will allow them to know I'll bring her back the way I would like to have written that note, which would have been very polite and kind. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Ramsey, I have your lovely daughter, and I'll bring her back, but not right now. But I couldn't do that. It would have led straight to me. If I'd written it that way, it would have led the authorities straight to my door. I couldn't address that note to in any way to her mother. I could have thought of doing it in the beginning, but I've changed my mind.
A law enforcement source tells CNN that John Mark Carr was heard saying while he was in custody that he doesn't understand how people could question how he got into the Ramseys' home the night John Benet Ramsey was murdered.
Carr blurted out, quote, "Everybody says I couldn't know my way around the house, but I got in the house around 5 o'clock and I stayed there all night. They, meaning the Ramseys, didn't come back until 10 o'clock.
Carr will be deported from Bangkok and then ultimately moved to Boulder, Colorado.
When his picture was published in the media, we had a little cottage up in northern Michigan, and we had a housekeeper that would come in and clean it periodically.